Hi guys, hope everyone's well. I just wanted to go over the some documents I have on the pre-scripted rig reality simulation that we live in. And if you want, you just go into the countries in which you live in, or where you intend to migrate to when the migration happens in 2024. But again, it's not going to be a lot. It's going to be over dramatized on the television, but really we won't notice anything, like we never do, because go back to the original. For example, hang on a minute. It says here, hang on, what was it here? Crowding space, 22 million. I think it's this one here. Sorry. We'll talk more in detail about this. Here we are. So projected climate refugees by 2050. They mean that per year, which is a increase of like 10 million from now. So they're going on about it like it's a huge thing, but it's actually, if you look outside, you don't actually notice anything different. So we'll go back to, and all of this is planned. Every single time there's anything, it's always planned, and it's in these documents. So we've got the next 10 years worth of documents here, and I wanted to go over, here's how they're going to do it. We'll go into this in more detail. They're basically going to build up a narrative that the governments are not, in certain countries, mainly the Western countries, or let's call them developed, so-called developed countries. They're going to build up a narrative that those countries are not doing a good enough job on, the governments are not doing a good enough job on the fake climate change hoax. Because again, if you look outside, you go down to the river or your nearest beach. Remember way back to the very, very beginning of your first memory when you were 3. Try to remember how high that water was, and then go back there today and see that relative to that, it's exactly the same. It hasn't changed. It can't have changed. It's impossible to change. It's the same as when the ice, they tell us, they have us all in fear that the ice caps are melting, but if they melt in the north during the summer in the north, that's fine, because they're failing to mention that the south is in the winter, and the south will keep the southern ones frozen. So again, there's always a perfect balance by nature in the world, thanks to Libra, which is designed to keep the world in balance. Otherwise, if you walked outside now, you'd see spray can fumes, tear gas fumes, smoke everywhere, but you don't. It's clear sky, because the world cleans itself. So anyway, this here, take a little look. We'll go through this in more detail, but really importantly, I wanted just to go through the countries first, so you guys know where the hell you should try to get to if you're still able to leave your country, or if you want to stay wherever you are, that's fine. But you're going to have to make that decision at some point in the near future, judging by these documents. But none of it's real, so really you can just stay where you want. So what are they going to do here? The Western countries, the European ones, USA, Australia, and all that, they're going to go along with climate action failure. So the population will think the government's doing a bad job on that, and then they'll demand for action, fast response, and then they'll go and line up to have the dot tattoo. They'll in fact they'll be begging for it, because they'll want that new system launch, which they already have ready to go. They're just waiting for to press the button. You can see here in Austria, they already have extreme weather events planned. Um, Debt crisis. Um, Climate action failure, Belgium, obviously. You want to be going to these developed countries where you'll see things like failure to keep up with the digital world. Are the places you'd want to be in. Like Mali in Africa would be good, because they literally fail to keep up with any of this. Um, but yet they have terrorist attacks planned in Kenya, and we'll go to that. So obviously that's all the script. Like for example, and how I know also we can prove it's a script if we were just to have a laugh and walk outside and just make a little dare or bet or analogy, and said, okay, let's go into that bank there and take everything they've got. What's going to happen is the cops will show up, they'll clean up the mess, hush hush, and it won't go in the newspaper, because we don't write the history, it's his story. So they are writing the terrorist attacks. Here's some in Chad, look. So those are coming, so anticipate that. Debt crisis, employment and livelihood crisis, breakdown of critical information infrastructure, terrorist attacks, human-made environmental damage. So they're going to blame the humans on that when it's actually them selling us the products that we just throw in the ocean. But again, the ocean cleans itself through Hyperborea. China, what's going to happen in China? Extreme weather events, asset bubble bursts, infectious disease. So they'll roll out another fake virus probably, or just keep this one going, drag it on. Collapse or lack of social security systems, geopoliticization of strategic resources. It's interesting. Does Colombia look like a good place to move to? Let's try that. Employment and livelihood crisis, human-made environmental damage, prolonged economic stagnation. Okay, so they don't allow Colombia to grow. State collapse. So Colombia wouldn't be that good either. Look, digital inequality, Congo. These are the places to go. These places in Africa, I believe, because they're going to lag behind and not and stay in the old school ways, going to shopping in market stores and stuff, and not wearing gloves when they make a hamburger, because they don't need to wear gloves to make you a hamburger. There's nothing wrong with that person's hands. But yet they have us thinking that the guy making the burger better wear gloves or we might die of some kind of disease. It's utterly ridiculous. Costa Rica doesn't look good. However, it's got digital inequality, so that could be good. Extreme weather events, so they already have that planned. Probably it's to be most likely to do with water, with Aquarius, right? So Costa Rica, I'd be interested in going there. Croatia might be a good place in Europe. Digital inequality, yeah. So Croatia looks good. Here, there's Cyprus, another main one. They're pushing the climate action failure, obviously. Go to Canada real quick. Where is it? We lost Canada, did we? Here. Debt crisis, climate action failure, extreme weather, employment crisis, infectious disease. So the whole 9 yards. I already have documents saying that Canada will not be a surveillance state. So we might skip this digital ID thing somehow. There may be a miracle for folks who are living in Canada. I don't know, but it doesn't look that way at this point. But these documents are saying it could be, you could have a light at the end of the tunnel there. That's how I'm reading it anyway, at first glance. We got here Honduras state collapse. Could be good here. Looks like they leave that place alone. India digital inequality. See, there you go. They're going to fall behind with the digital theme, as they have done with the COVID from the beginning. They shut everything down, but my buddy moved back to India and was very happy doing that, making that decision actually. He says it's been great ever since. Everything's been open. Life's been normal there. But that's just from one person I know. I can't speak for anyone else. So Israel already has terrorist attacks planned. Failure of cybersecurity measures. So they're going to make out that Israel is terrible at looking after their cybersecurity and weapons of mass destruction. So they're going to hang that over the Israelis too, which is why I said the fake W word in the U word is going to move south to Israel later on. That was already in the documents, and that's where we're going here. They're going to bring up this that we had in the Bush time, and tie it all in with the current theme, right? Kenya, debt crisis, Kuwait. I believe the Middle Eastern countries are going to be merging. Asset bubble burst in large economies. Failure of technology governance. So human-made environmental, and then they're going to keep this going. So then there is a chance that could happen with other, and they join them and make a larger UAE. What else do we have here? What's Mexico state collapse, proliferation of illicit economic activity, right? So it looks like nothing's happening in Mexico. Employment and livelihood crisis, and then digital inequality. So yeah, Mexico looks good according to this. Morocco, natural resource crisis. So they're going to run out of fuel. Netherlands, same theme, look, climate action, failure. Erosion of social cohesion. They already have that planned. That's unbelievable. New Zealand, there's the cyber security measures. We've already been seeing them speaking about that. So they're going to hang that over the Kiwis as well. And then obviously they've got the climate action failure, extreme weather events, and just because this is a natural cycle at the moment, the masses are going to believe that this is due to this, right? And this is going to cause this. This that's then going to cause this, and then this will return most likely, or this will happen on that. However they're going to tie this together, it will be quite genius, really. Nicaragua looks good. Lack of social security systems looks great. Nigeria, terrorist attacks, they have that planned there then somehow. So they're going to be, by the looks of it, then they'll be building a narrative for people in these countries with this, that this is actually happening, and they'll have those people in a new alternate reality of fear because of this, which doesn't exist. Because again, if you look outside, how many times do you see this? And how many people do you know that are involved with this? None, zero. It's all on TV. Crisis actors. Empty buildings, that kind of thing. Climate action failure. This is going to join with UAE, Portugal. I know a lot of people asking about Portugal. How's that looking? Prolonged economic stagnation, excellent. Debt crisis, okay. Employment, okay. And digital inequality, collapse. Yeah, so Portugal looks like a good bet in Europe if you want to try to live in the old days through this time. Buy yourself some time. Rwanda, uh, interesting. Yeah, the African countries are very interesting. They seem to show a theme. What do we have with South Africa? State collapse. Spain, employment and livelihood crisis, prolonged economic stagnation, debt crisis in large countries, climate action failure. They'll throw that on them. In fact, so Spain might actually loosen up a bit then from its current trajectory. Yeah, and that's it. We'll go through here real quick. United Kingdom, failure of cyber security measures, so anticipate that. This obviously, they'll drag this on. Then you'll just get a bit more rain than usual with the wind, and then that will go away. And as the cycle moves on, USA do this, yeah, of course. Employment livelihood crisis, we already know about. This is going to happen, this obviously, yeah, and then boom. So yeah, we have this already forecasted. Doesn't say anything about the failure to keep up with the digital ID, so that means they're probably going all the way along with it. Venezuela is supposed to be good in the end. Yeah, large scale. Involuntary migration, really? Really? So they already have that plan, so many people are going to migrate out of Venezuela. Human-made environmental damage, prolonged economic stagnation. Well, Venezuela is supposed to rise, but not rise up slowly after 2025. So maybe this happens before, and then and then another country of people move in there. I don't know how this is going to work. Christ. Yeah, but that's that. I wanted to show you guys that. Just to show you that it is all a script and they do document everything for us as well. So if we get the astrology, the gematria, and these documents and tie them all together, then we usually get a good idea of what the theme is here, right? So this is how they're going to do it. This is what's going to happen. They even have the geopolitical outcome and social unrest outcome planned in here, and then the solution is the technology. But yeah, here it is. You just have to look this up if you want to have a closer look at that at our friends at the WEF website, and search this PDF and take a look. But yeah, I'll come back and do another video later. Thanks a lot.